Hey guys, it's Adam Rose, Vice President, Senior Loan Officer of Western Ohio Mortgage here in Sydney, Ohio. This is another episode of the Mortgage Guy podcast, and this is the one where you get to know Kevin Frazier Jones of Gay Smith and Associates.
How you doing, everybody?
So, too bad we're not live, right? And people can't just heart it the whole time.
Oh man, that'd be cool. We should do a call in.
We could. That's outside my technical expertise.
You just tell them to call the phone, and you answer the phone. That's it.
We could put him on speaker,
easy.
maybe. Justin, who's out in San Diego, that does all the editing, he could probably figure it out.
Yeah, that's that guy that used to work here.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he still does.
Yeah.
He's still here, but he's on a different time zone. I don't know how much work he's actually doing.
Yeah, I had that. I questioned that when he was here. So
actually, that's what Kylie always did. What the hell are you doing back there, anyways? We always kept it busy. So, first thing off, I've been asking a lot of people, Kevin, do you have an irrational fear?
yes,
Oh, okay. Let's hear it. What we got?
of being recorded.
Oh, yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah. No, really.
Okay.
I think my biggest fear in life, and I'm not sure it's irrational or not.
Yeah.
It's just making mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A fear of disappointing someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it happens.
I have that.
And when it happens, you beat yourself up, and
Yeah.
then it's like it compounds the whole issue.
Well, that's why we're so stressed out in this business all the time, because there's so much going on, right?
Yeah.
On the lending side, there's so many things that can go wrong. On the real estate side, did you miss something at a property? You
Right.
misadvised,
Well,
and it stresses you out.
and you got to be careful on advising you. There's some
Yeah.
things you can't say from a legal standpoint, so
Yeah.
you have to really be cautious on what you say to people because you don't want to mislead them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forget the fact that it may be legal, but you don't want to mislead somebody and have them buy a property that you think is going to be okay when it really isn't okay.
Yeah, and the reason we're so stressed out about this and the public image and your reputation, reputation is all you got in this business.
Amen.
And when you are in a small town, if something goes wrong, it gets around pretty quick.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
So I am 100% on board
Yeah.
with you. That is not irrational.
Yeah.
So Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Or how long have you been here? Married, kids? What's going on?
Oh yeah, I've been in Sydney, Ohio now almost 40 years. I'm
What-
from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I didn't know that. I knew you've
Oh, you
been here
didn't?
forever, but I
Yeah.
didn't know where you were originally from.
Yeah, I went to Snyder High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah.
Graduated back in 19 years something. And then-
You don't want to say? Okay.
I tell everybody I'm like 69 anyway,
Did
so
you-
it don't matter.
Did you stop having birthdays like me?
No, actually, I don't care. I really don't care how old people think I am.
Right.
The older they think I am, the better I look.
Right. Yeah.
So it got to that point where I just tell people I'm 69, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Well,
wow,
you look
really
amazing.
good for 69, dude. But,
What's Medicare like?
Yeah, I don't need it yet.
Is it hard to get the
God.
supplements and stuff?
Hey, I started asking those questions. I started asking people, how do you sign up? Because you don't know. And
It's weird.
Some of my clients, I've had to deal with Medicare and Medicaid and help them with some stuff. And it's weird that you got to get involved with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My dad had to do it
yeah.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah. My parents.
Sorry,
were-
Pops.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
And the owner of the
part
company,
of life.
she's going to be knocking on the door here soon. She's not going to like that very much.
But so I'm married.
Yep.
My husband's name is Mark, and we have a kid who's 27. You probably didn't even know that.
I did know that.
Did you
I
know
did
that?
know you had a kid. I didn't
Yeah.
know how old. I didn't know how old.
We adopted him. He was
Mhm.
9 when we adopted him from
That's
Idaho.
awesome.
Yeah, good kid. We had some trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
I think everybody does as
Sure.
they grow up, especially in today's age. And I found those that don't spank, you should spank. Yeah, my husband
Got it covered. We're good.
My husband will tell you that we did not spank because, of course, as an adopted family,
Mhm.
we couldn't do it. And there's times I wish I would have showed a little more discipline
Yeah.
with Chris.
I can't say that we spank our kids or anything like that, but a smack on the butt goes a long way
Yeah.
for attention purposes.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Get their
Yeah, right.
attention.
Yeah.
Right? But he's a great kid. We love him. He's out in Washington State.
very cool.
Yeah, he's got his own life now, so that's wonderful watching him grow into that. Because 2 years ago he wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And so we were still trying to help him. And
So on this topic of small town here, you've been here for a long time. What's kept you here?
so I came here because of Mark.
Mm-hmm.
We met. So I was traveling.
You weren't prepared for this part. It's okay.
Yeah. No,
It's all
you're
right.
good. You're good.
You're trying to say, well,
I'm
should
trying
I
to
say
think,
this?
What do I want to say? What do I want to read? So I'm pretty open about my life. I was actually Mr. Gay, Indiana at one time. And I sung. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I sung. And so I traveled around to these different locations and sung. And that's what people paid me to go in and sing at their bars. I don't have that voice anymore, so I couldn't do that now. But back in the day, it was sort of fun to do. Well, I met Mark in Lima, Ohio, and then that brought us down to Sydney when we decided to create a relationship. And I had to get out of the entertainment portion of my life and get into actually getting a real job and growing up,
Right.
which sucked.
Yeah. I bet. Well, you enjoy performing.
Yeah.
And it's still a big part of your life, which we're going to touch on a little bit.
Yeah. But then as I started, I think it was Stoley's.
Yeah.
I worked there for a while, and then I worked at Advanced Composites and Hexa and all these other places, and grew into
I remember when because you were working at Hexa when you got in the real estate industry, if I recall correctly.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. So speaking of that, so how long have you been in the real estate game, and what kind of pushed you into that? What was the interest?
So yeah, about 6 years I've been in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mark and I had an antique store downtown Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the times I'd have to go into people's homes because we were purchasing items or maybe bought their estate out, and we'd clean out the estate. And I just found some of the architecture that I was looking at, the homes and the way they were built, and honestly, the way people lived. I found it fascinating that people lived it in different ways, because I've always seen just the way we've lived. And so I just thought it was fun. And then when we lived up in Anna, we had a really nice home up there, and we decided to sell it, and Gay jumped in to help us sell it. And in that process, she and I started discussing it, and I think she kind of guided me into it. She's a great mentor, and she said, "Hey, I think you do good."
Well, you're a people person.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's no. I got to tell you, so funny is Mark says I'm not.
I think you are,
because I don't.
You're very outgoing.
This one-on-one stuff, hate it.
Yeah,
hate it. I can stand in front of a group of 30 people, 100 people,
and perform
and do whatever.
Yeah.
But you put me one-on-one, and I hate it, and I don't show a lot of emotion a lot of times, and so Mark and a lot of people think that I'm in a bad mood. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just me.
Yeah.
So, but give me a character and I'm fine.
I know when we're at closing, we're always laughing and talking and
yeah. Well, there's 5 or 6 people
right?
there.
You love that.
The attention's not just on me at this moment, so we're fine.
Very good. So, a lot of stuff's been going on in our industry lately, right? The last, 2022, the rate started to shift a little bit, and the amount of inventory started going down. What kind of obstacles have you been seeing in the industry, and how are you kind of overcoming some of those?
Well, I think right now the lack of inventory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the number one issue.
Yeah,
right.
And inventory to me isn't just the homes either. It's the people. Right? A lot of people right now just they're not looking at moving because of interest rates or whatever. But hey, interest rates have been a lot worse, guys.
Yeah, sure.
I remember, I think we were at 13 on one of our first houses back in the 80s.
And what's funny is there's always these like Facebook meme groups that make fun of like boomers that talk about the 80s, and it's like, back when I bought it was 19%, and everybody replies, well, your house was only 40,000. But it's somewhat relevant because of the income at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, I will say in the last 3 or 4 years, income has not outpaced the inflationary levels of where housing has gone.
Correct.
That's true.
That's correct.
100% true. So we feel your pain, buyers. Absolutely. So when you're mixing these high prices and you're mixing these higher rates, it is more challenging, right?
Right.
People are stretching their dollar really, really thin to qualify for certain products. This is a question that kind of wasn't on here that we spoke about before, but if you were approaching a seller and they're kind of like on the fence, I mean, what would be your pitch? Saying, hey, let's get these houses on the market, and why? I mean, there's goods and bads.
So I don't like to make pitches to people. I
Sure.
don't want to persuade anyone to do one thing or the other.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody approaches me and says, I'm thinking about selling my house, of course, I'm going to sit down and talk about the pros and cons.
Absolutely. All of it.
Good. All of it. And we'll create the market analysis for them. And if they want, I even suggest that they talk to Gay or maybe another realtor. I don't care. I'm good with that. I want them to be comfortable in selling their property. Yeah. If I'm the one that's going to do it, that's fantastic. If I'm not, then somebody else can get involved, and I'll bring the buyer. I'm good with that too.
Right. And we have that conversation with buyers at the same time. How much they can afford and what they're comfortable with is 2 different conversations.
Absolutely.
Right. And we always encourage that. And when we're doing pre-approvals, we're like, well, hey, you can go up to X. However, this is the payment at X. Are you comfortable with that? And a lot of times they're not, right? They want to bring it back down to earth a little bit more. And so we have that conversation. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the irrational fear that we have of disappointing someone or misleading or misadvising someone in a situation like, oh, it's going to be fine, because our anticipation rates are supposed to come down, right? And the expectation by the end of the year is back into that mid-5s, low-5s range. Can I guarantee that's going to happen? No. And we have that conversation with buyers. Is like, how I see it when people ask me, should I buy now? Is it a good time? It's always a good time to purchase a home. All right. Yes. You heard me say that. So it's always a good time to purchase a home. And the reason is because if you find the house that's just right for your family, where you want to be, it's in the country or it's in town, wherever it is, you might not have another opportunity at it.
Right.
You don't know if you'll get it. So it's that whole concept of, marry the house, right? Date the rent, divorce, all that fun stuff that we always talk about.
But don't pay over the appraisal price.
Correct. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. That can get people into some trouble. But again, we expect rates will come down so you can refi.
That's like marrying a really high maintenance person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody you can't afford. Yeah.
I feel like you have experience with that.
No, but our first house, the house we owned up in Anna, our payment was crazy.
Too much.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Well, we could. I mean, we did.
It's just stressful.
We lived for the house.
Right. Yeah.
And that's all we did.
That's a conversation, right? You can love this house all you want, but if you can't afford a pizza on Friday night, then what's the point?
Yeah. And we ended up finally, and of course we live over by the high school now, and we love the neighborhood. I love Sydney. Sydney's so fun. And if you haven't been downtown,
it's amazing.
I watch these Facebook posts, and I'm going to get political on you guys.
Right.
Stop posting crap on Sydney's Facebook thing.
Community.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be honest with you though. Sometimes I read it and I just grab some popcorn.
Isn't it fun?
It's comments.
Hilarious.
Some of it's comical. So
I'm like, Sydney. Oh, the restaurants downtown are for rich people only. Oh, come on now. I love Casanos, but you can go to Casanos and buy a $20 pizza, or you can go down to Emilio's and buy a $20 pizza.
Right.
But if you do it at Emilio's, then you can walk over to the bridge and have a drink, and then you can go to Tavalo's and sit and enjoy that atmosphere.
Murphy's for beer if you like
Murphy's,
it. And you got all kinds of stuff going on.
It's great. And go to the theater.
Right. So we're going to talk about that here in a second.
That's a good thing.
Last little piece on your real estate. So do you have any tips or tricks that you've been doing to keep yourself busy and active? Any marketing strategies? Any ways that you are staying in touch with past clients that were on the fence? I'm just curious.
The best way to keep in touch with people, of course, is sending out texts, sending out emails, phone calls. A lot of advertising.
Yeah.
I do a lot, especially Facebook. I don't know if you've seen the Facebook things I do with my dog.
And the videos.
My
love
videos.
Them.
And tonight's winning numbers are 93, 7, 6, 38, 19, and 36. So it's 937.
We won!
638,
We won!
1936.
We won!
That's
We
your
won!
winning
Come on,
number.
Kevin, let's
All
go!
right, if you're ready for your dream home, give me a call at 937-638-1936. We're going to make all your dreams come true.
And that's just something you got to do, and it just keeps your face out there.
Yeah.
You know how many calls I've gotten from them is zero, but people know me from them.
Branding.
Yeah.
It's all about branding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're doing this show too, right? Not only are we putting spotlight on local business owners and real estate agents and everybody that's in real estate in general, and we're educating borrowers, but it's so people can remember who I am.
Right.
Right? It's branding. So branding is a very, very important piece of staying active and busy. So outside of the real estate market, you are heavily active in what we were talking about earlier, right? Performance in the arts, and you are heavily involved in the success of the Sydney Theater.
I don't know if I'm heavily involved in the success.
You're heavily involved.
I'm one of the people
in it.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Right. Not saying just because of you, Sydney Theater is back.
It's mostly because of me.
It is. All right. We got to take some credit. But what's that like? I mean, what's that all about?
Well, let me give you history. So, almost 15 years ago, Jeff Wood owned the theater. He bought it. Actually, Gay helped him buy the building. That's funny. I don't know why, but her name.
She's in every transaction in the last 50 years.
I plugged you a few times here, so no. But Jeff Wood owned the building, and Gay contacted me knowing that I was part of a group called Sock and Buskin, which is a local theater.
Right.
So she says, "Hey, you want to get involved with this theater?" So I called Jeff. Jeff says, hey, come down, help me out, and I'll let you perform on the stage. And that's how that relationship started. And then little by little, a new group was formed called Raise the Roof for, actually, I think the original name was Project Mirror. And it involved quite a few people in Sydney. And I won't name all their names because they probably get mad at me if I named them all. But they created a new group called Raise the Roof for the Arts and had raised a lot of the money to start the rehabilitation program. And now I'm on the board of Raise the Roof for the Arts. And I direct down at the theater. I've directed probably 30 shows down there. I've been in probably 40 shows down there. This summer, it's amazing. In August and September, I think we got 4 or 5 shows happening that are just theater stage shows.
Right.
You know, we do bands. We do guys. You can rent the theater out and have events there. It's amazing what we could do. And Ian, and I can't say his name. I never say his name right. Hens, I think is how you say it. Ian.
We'll just say it. Ian only.
Ian.
He's known as Ian.
He's phenomenal. He is our executive director down there, and we've got a wonderful board. But he is so involved, and he cares so much about the city.
Good.
So and that's how you succeed. Whether it's a realtor, whether it's in mortgage, or whether you're executive chairman of a theater, you've got to be able to care about what you're doing.
Passionate.
Yeah,
you got to be passionate about what you're doing, right? What's your why and all that. And we're lucky enough. Actually, Kevin actually gave us a private tour not that long ago to check out the theater.
I forgot. Yeah.
And I hear Cameron Eisenhart just stopped by 2 weeks ago.
Did
he?
he?
Fundraising.
Was he on here?
Yeah, wasn't on here.
Oh, okay.
He was in my office asking for money. So we are now a proud sponsor of the Sydney Theater Group.
I saw your name on the list, but I didn't know who was going to be charged with talking to you.
Yep, right. Yep. So Cameron yanked the money out of my pocket forcefully.
You should give more.
Yeah, well, we're giving a good chunk, so we're okay, and we'll continue on that road. But I heard they're doing some renovations down there and getting those bathrooms down the backside, and getting different acts in and stuff like that.
Yeah, what people don't know is what we do backstage, and so just on the stage and above us on the stage, we've got $2-3 million worth of fly equipment and curtains and lights, and then we have no bathrooms backstage, but we've got some pretty cool dressing rooms. So we've actually got the funds now. We're going to knock out an old wall that's not the greatest and some old bathrooms that really never functioned, and we're putting in some brand new bathrooms. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to have a shower in it, so we can clean up some of us afterwards. Right. Because some of these shows you get pretty messy and dirty, and not to mention we bring people from outside bands and stuff.
Yeah, they need a place to be, right? They need they need a bathroom and get ready and all that.
Yeah,
so.
I mean that's just another stage. But you know, if you haven't volunteered for something, volunteer down at the theater. I know this is about real estate, but
it's okay.
That's
what we're talking about.
Yeah, my passion. I love real estate. My passion is theater. I can't get paid for it because I'm not that good. So
just love doing it.
I just like to be honest. I like people to look at me and laugh. Yeah. But get involved down at the theater. They're looking for people all the time, and I know you sponsored. I sponsored. And we show first run movies now. Yeah. That's something people don't know.
And I was talking to Seth about that. He says, we've been doing some first run movies. The issue was the attendance. I said, I think it's more, and I gave him my feedback on it, is just the inconsistency of such, right? And the reason I say inconsistency is because there's not a specific day of the week a movie is actually playing. So now we're going to rely on social media advertising, things like that to create the crowd. And I think a lot of people miss it. And I'm hoping, and that was my feedback, hey, maybe you guys could get a day where it's like, hey, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have first show movies. I don't know what that situation is like. Not my, again, like my assistant says, not my circus, not my monkeys, right? So it's just feedback in hopes that we get that crowd up.
That feedback's great. Unfortunately for movies, if you even go down to like Cinemark down in Piqua, they're not filling up anymore like they used to.
I know.
That's the way movies are. When you get to us, again, we didn't do movies for such a long time. People didn't realize it. And now that we're doing them, you're right, it's sporadic. And the reason it's sporadic is because we have so many other events that happen. Sure. And so the movies actually are fill-ins. So we use them. Okay, we got this date. We're not doing nothing. Okay, well, then this movie's coming in.
Yeah, bring it in.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you make almost no money on a movie.
Yeah. It's all concessions. That's the only place where you can make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And so that's what we do.
Yeah. Well, I hope you wish you continue success at the theater because it's made quite a comeback and there's a lot of great stuff going on. Last thing, all right. Do you have a crazy real estate story?
No.
You don't? I don't believe you.
No.
He's got one. It's okay. If it's bad,
no.
we won't put it on the show.
I have a confidentiality to all my clients, and I will not break that confidentiality.
Fair enough.
And, so people, okay. Yeah, there's crazy people out there, guys. Especially when you're showing homes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's been times when you thought the home was vacant and it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, no, no names, no specific events.
Okay. All right. We're not going to name drop or anything like that.
Question,
That's okay.
That question kind of concerned me, only because I truly do. When you're dealing with your clients,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my clients will probably watch this
I hope.
because they're my friends now. And I don't want somebody to say, "Hey, that was my story. Why'd you tell that?" So I'm just not going to do that.
We can't do a John Doe, Jane Doe thing, right? All
No,
right.
because I think they'll pick it out.
Yeah,
will.
I mean, there's only so many stories, right?
There's only a couple real good ones.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That just happened 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That happened to me. All right, very good. Well, Kevin, thank you again for taking the time today and coming on the show. Guys, that's going to be it for us this week. Make sure to check it out on YouTube. Like it, click the link, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Remember, you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we will see you next week.
Call Kevin Jones at Smith Realty. Bye.